So, vacation is over. We are back. Safe. I'll tell you more about that in Let's Talk. Yeah, safe. But that's besides the point. The fact is that a lot has happened with Sarah Boone. The last time we talked, I was mentioning her motions and how the investigator had to provide all the findings by August 5. So I have to say again, a big thank you to my Sarah Boone spies, because honestly, without you guys, this would not be possible. I'm only one man, one brain, two eyes. Anyway, so let's go back to memory lane or history, because I know this is not news, but this is the first time I'm going to be analyzing this, because I was away and I didn't really have time to analyze a lot of that stuff. Of course, before we start, consider dropping me a like, subscribe if you haven't done so. I've missed you a ton, but you know, family comes first. Family and work comes first. Okay, well, work, then family. Because without work, I can't feed them. Anyway, and then what? And then if you wanted to do more, you have options in the description below. But if you're new here, I'm Alistair Hanzeko. This is just my point of view. I just woke up, can you tell? Perfect. And I have the coffee ready. Anyway, let's get started. Let's go.
Ma'am, good morning. Can you please state your full name and date of birth for the record for me?
Sarah Boone, 10-10-77.
I do see that we have a representative from JACS that's appearing virtually. Sir, can I get you appearance for the record as well?
Yes, Your Honor. Christian Lake with the Justice Administrative Commission.
Okay, very good. All right, we've got a couple of things that we're going to be addressing this morning. The first is the motions, Ms. Boone, that you had made reference the last time I saw you. The court has reviewed all of those motions. I've reviewed also JACS's reply, specifically their response to the motion seeking due process costs that was filed on July 30, 2024. State, have you had the opportunity to review all of Ms. Boone's motions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Ma'am, I want to go through each one of them and hear from the state, from yourself, and from JACS. We're going to start first with y'all can be seated, you don't need to stand, thank you. The defendant's temporary motion for reservation of proposed costs to acquire investigator for defendant's defense and trial dated July 18, 2024, received July 29th. That request seeks to reserve any and all costs proposed to be incurred to acquire investigator. The defendant's temporary motion for reservation of proposed costs to acquire all witnesses for defendant's defense and trial dated July 18, 2024, received July 29th, 2024. The request is to reserve any and all costs proposed to be incurred to acquire all witnesses for trial. And then defendant's temporary motion for depositions to be conducted per FRCP Rule 3.220 by defendant under prose attorney title and position ordered by the judge in court dated July 18, 2024 and received July 29, 2024. I have reviewed all of those motions. All three motions reflect to be determined or TBD with regard to the investigator, witnesses, and deponents. The total amounts are to be determined. How to calculate is unknown. As to the depositions, the date are to be determined, and the amount of transcripts are unknown. Mr. Lake, I've reviewed your response. Do you have anything else to add, sir, with regard to those items, investigators, witnesses, or deponents?
Not really, Your Honor. The only thing is if we can provide Ms. Boone a copy of our pro se packet that has information about including model motions. We would be happy to send her a copy or to send your JA a copy that you could send to give to her. That might help her for purposes of future motions. But as far as these are concerned, I think our response pretty much outlines what our position was to each of those requests.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you would be so kind to send that to Ms. Barrios, we will ensure that Ms. Boone gets a copy of it. State, do you have any position with regard to those three motions that the court just identified?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, ma'am. So previously, Prison Break Investigations was already appointed to be your investigator. The JAC has no objection to authorizing $5,000 in costs for Prison Break and for $500 for obtaining case-related documents and materials on your behalf. So seeing as there's no objection, even though you were asking for a reservation, I'm going to go ahead and permit that cost to be incurred. With regard to the costs for witnesses and the depositions, you are requesting, as I identified earlier, just to reserve those costs. And as I had said earlier, the motions do not identify who the witnesses are or what the deponents are. So I'm going to deny those motions with prejudice, but that means you can refile them and we can readdress them when you file motions in the future addressing any of those items for ensuring witnesses being subpoenaed or appearing for your defense at trial, or for any persons that you may seek to depose. Because as of right now, I don't know who it is that you are seeking to depose based on your own motions. Do you understand the court's ruling as to those three motions, and do you have any questions, or do you want to add anything?
I would like to add.
Okay. It feels weird talking to you because I know this is not news. It's the first time me seeing it. So, you know. First of all, 5,500 for the investigator. I think it's right. I think it's right. This is real. I mean, of course, Alistair is real. No. What I'm trying to say is that there's no going back in terms of the train leaving the station. This segment that I played for you, really, in a nutshell, it's a grown-up way of saying, we're here to address your emotions, ma'am. I'm pretty much going to go ahead and dismiss everything that you have to say or do or whatever the case may be. Because I'm not even fully into this whole video. And the way this introduction was laid out, it was almost like a checkmate. The most important thing that he did, he brought the court brought JACS in there, right? So JACS, from my understanding now, I don't think I understood it when I made the previous video, is the middleman, so to speak, right? It's the property manager for all those inmates. And so JACS gave her a prose kit. Good luck. Right? A prose kit. And address all of her due process causes. And then they just closed the door. Good luck, ma'am. Good luck. Then the judge addressed the fact that, look, I'm going to pay this guy, the guy at work, I'm going to pay him. You say you have witnesses? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't get through all the motions, but I'm assuming she said that I have witnesses. When you get witnesses, we'll deal with them at the time. That's it. In other words, he's saying, we'll deal with you when the time comes, but we are moving forward. So let's see what she has to say.
I would like to add, please.
Sure.
With your delegated due date of July 22nd, for all of my pretrial motions to be submitted, I have yet to receive my discovery, so I was trying to beat that deadline or at least meet it. So I don't know what I'm supposed to ask for or who I'm supposed to ask for, and again, I have yet to receive my discovery, so I don't even know who it is I need. So I understand for those, so you're telling me at a later date once I have that information to revise them.
I'm giving you the opportunity to refile them. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Lastly is the defendant's motion requesting immediate relief to the defendant by appointing effective standby counsel to aid and support in preparation of a criminal case for trial dated July 18, 2024 and received July 29, 2024. The request, ma'am, that you are seeking in that motion is to provide immediate relief to defendant by appointing effective standby counsel to aid and support in preparation of her criminal case for trial. State, do you have any position with regard to Ms. Boone's request for standby counsel?
No, Your Honor, other than what's already been placed on the record in the court's order.
Okay. Mr. Lake, anything over and above what's in your response?
Just briefly, Your Honor, the point we would make, Your Honor, is I think Ms. Boone misunderstands the role of standby counsel. Standby counsel is not co-counsel or assistant counsel to a defendant. Standby counsel is there for when, in the situation where a pro se defendant who is elected to represent herself decides at some point they want a lawyer that allows the court to put a lawyer back into play at that point in time. In other words, it's a safety mechanism so that if a defendant who is decided to represent themselves decides at some point they do no longer want to represent themselves, the court has a lawyer already in place so that the progress is not delayed. It is not an assistant or a co-counsel. It is someone whose role is incenting not to get involved until the defendant says, I no longer want to represent myself.
Ma'am, the court's had the opportunity to review the case law on this issue. There is no constitutional right to stand by counsel, as decided by Paul v. State, 152 Southern 3rd, 635, at pinpoint 641 by the Florida 4th District Court of Appeal in 2014, citing to the Florida Supreme Court case in Jones v. State, 449 Southern 2nd, 253, at pinpoint 258 from 1984. As the court has determined that you have forfeited and alternatively waived by your conduct the right to court-appointed counsel, the court is not required to appoint standby counsel. That's Brown v. State, 45 Southern 3rd, 110, at pinpoint 114 through 115, Florida 1st DCA 2010, citing to, again, Jones v. State by the Florida Supreme Court in 1984. There is no Sixth Amendment right to simultaneously proceeding pro se and with legal representation by the Florida Supreme Court in 2009 in Shepard v. State, 17 Southern 3rd, 275 at 279. For the reasons that the court identified in its 16-page order previously entered, your request for standby counsel is denied.
Oh! Look, honey, let me tell you something right now. This is why kids, come here. Criminals, have several seats. Listen to this black man talking to you. Why gotta be black? Stop it. Be afraid of the law. Be afraid of the healthcare system. What are you talking about? Hold on, let me get to it. Be afraid of your parents. Now I'm playing. Of these two. Because you're entering systems where you literally don't have any power anymore. You heard what the guy said. You heard what Judge Mikhail Krenik said. I'm not giving you standby counsel. I'm sorry. I'm not giving you standby counsel. No. I don't have to, and I'm not doing it. That's what the judge said. Because she thought standby counsel was a little minion, because, the first motion I told you, she was requesting an office with clerks. She just walks in there and be like, all right, minions, make me free. Go. You win a sticker. Like she was hoping to get a task force. No. That's not how it works. That's not how standby counsel works. And that's why the court over there, the court and JACS was like, wait, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. No. She really, 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 really is absolutely audacious. To have this kind of level of audacity to just request the world for free, by the way, okay? It's beyond me, but it's because she is an alleged narcissist. Do you understand? That her brain is not capable of have a level of critical thinking beyond just her bubble? She cannot think that far ahead. That's why they're stupid. They're very emotionally smart, but they crumble in front of someone with a little bit of intellect. Narcissists are very effective because most people don't have the mental energy to dissect someone. But when you actually look into the facts and look into the substance, i.e. if you're at work or if you start asking questions, it crumbles. So, non, Sarah Boone. Je suis désolé. Je suis vraiment désolé. Mais non, no standby counsel for you. We went on vacation /work. And, I don't want to bore you too much. It's somewhat of a long story, and I don't want to divulge too much because the IRS is always watching. Oh my God. No, listen. No, it was a great vacation, / work, and I discovered a lot. We went to Portugal, and beautiful place, beautiful place. Definitely going back next year for work, and of course I bring the family with me. Why not? Free vacation. Anyway, let's continue with this mess. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to something important here, because on the first segment I just told you, right? I told you what this intro was all about. It was very clear to me. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a lawyer. It's plain English. But listen to what that sounds like to a narcissist. Listen.
Your Honor, I feel uncomfortable with you supplying my evidence to the jail. So I don't know if there's a way that, I don't know if you are aware, but my jail phone calls have been released, and there's a lot of things that have been released from the jail. So I don't know, I do not feel protected by you all handing it to the jail. I know that Mr. Lane and I previously have worked on the laptop with USB drives that he has furnished himself from bringing in from the outside. So I didn't know, and I would feel more comfortable if there was a process or a procedure. I don't know who your names are from the jail. I do know the captain, whom I spoke to the other day regarding my laptop. But I would very much...
Who was that, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
Who was that?
For which?
The captain that you spoke to. Who was it?
D. Giovanni.
Okay.
There's multiple sergeants involved, and I did meet the gentleman who was supposed to be here today to pick up the USB drives. So I don't feel comfortable, please, with providing the USB drive of my evidence with things that have been leaked or released from the jail. So if it is a possibility, please, I would like for my investigator to have that and bring in with me prior.
If I understand the jail's protocol, which I read to you at our last hearing, the jail will keep custody of the USB drives and release them with the laptop as well. So I don't know how I can bypass that process that they've created, because the USB drives and the laptop, when it's checked out by you and when it's returned by you, is all going to be logged in their IMS system.
Right, it's simply a laptop. It's a very basic laptop where anyone affiliated with my case has any type of digital evidence they bring in with them from the outside. It's simply a basic laptop that we are able to utilize at the Orange County Corrections Department. That's how we have done that prior. So I don't know what it is different, and I don't know the jail protocol because no one's included me.
You were provided a copy of it through the court filing, and I read it to you at the last hearing.
Your understanding is different than my understanding because my contacts from the jail are telling me something different.
Who? What are their names?
There's multiple sergeants.
What are their names?
I'd rather not get them involved for fear of harassment or anything from other...
Ma'am, I'm deferring to what the Orange County Jail and the captain that you identified specifically as to her memorandum to the court, which was read to you at our last hearing, which was sent a copy to you by a notice of service, and it was provided by U.S. mail. It was sent out last week.
I have yet to receive anything such as...
Don't worry, I have a copy to give to you this morning, just in case you have not received it.
Yes, the last thing I have is your order that you provided me with the implementation of your USB drive
Okay.
option.
All right.
So anything that you are speaking of in the meantime, I do not know, and it was served by process?
It was served by U.S. mail.
By U.S. mail?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I actually have 3 motions, please, if I may submit them to you.
In a moment.
Yes, in the process of, because the address that you are, I'm guessing, sending these to is incorrect.
I received your letter addressing the address issue. That's been remedied. So the appropriate legal mail address will be utilized. It was simply a clerical error, and that has been remedied. But regardless, I did read to you at our last hearing the protocol for the USB drive in the jail. the court is inclined to follow the Orange County Jail's protocol with regard to the USB drives. So the evidence, digital evidence that the state seeks to admit at trial will be put on a USB drive, delivered to Mr. Lane. That will be delivered to a representative from the Orange County Jail, and Mr. Lane will thereafter file a filing with the court in the form of an affidavit identifying when he received it from the state and who he gave it to, when he gave it to, and what representative of the jail he gave it to.
So it goes from the state to Mr. Lane to the jail?
For the purposes of indexing it, for the purposes of their records under the protocol, and then it will be available for your use.
So if I want to see all of my evidence digitally, I need to contact someone at the jail?
No, ma'am. The evidence that were in the 2 bankers box that Mr. Lane digitized for you is going to be provided to the jail. That's going to be provided with the laptop to you. And that's available to you from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day in the protocol that I read to you at our last hearing.
Yes, and I will speak to the captain just to be aware that everyone that it is in the process, because I do not feel comfortable with any of this, and I do not feel protected either by the courts or the jail system. So for right now, I don't know if it can be postponed or if it's something that I need to write another letter to. Everything takes longer in jail. So by me trying to get a hold of the captain nonetheless, it's going to be a feat in itself. So I want you to know, if anything, that I am in the process of trying to reach out to the captain. I don't know if she'll be here today or if it'll be the contact person. So in the process, I am working on speaking to the captain because I do not feel, like I said, that I am protected in any way, shape, or form by the Orange County Corrections Department withholding my evidence in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. The court's going to follow the procedure as I outlined at the last hearing.
It's as if she didn't hear anything. It's as if she did not hear anything, right? It's like they just told you. They just told you the sky's blue, and she's like, huh? It doesn't register in their brain. If it doesn't affect what they want to hear, they are not capable of projecting. And that's a lack of empathy. Listen, this is why I do think she's allegedly a sociopath or a psychopath, whichever you want to spin it. Because there is a complete inability, a complete detachment to even put herself in a specific time and space to understand a very simple fundamental. The judge told you what? I'm dismissing all emotions. Period. 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 And she's like, what? Wait, what happened to my motion of witnesses? They had to repeat themselves. And it's not like her brain is not on. She's paying attention, but she's not hearing what she wants to hear. And so in her reality, she's dismissing it. Do you know how dangerous that is? Let me tell you why that's super dangerous. And if you ever meet someone in real life that's you have to repeat over and over again the same concept, honey, drop your bags and just go the other way. You're wasting your time. Let me tell you why it's dangerous. Because that person is unable to actually see a reality outside of themselves. Complete lack of empathy. I'm not saying they're sociopath or psychopath, but there's something dangerous there. In other words, it means that if you are in a difficult situation, let's say if you find yourself like, I don't know, hanging from a tree, help me, they'd be like, what are you doing up there? Oh my God, get down. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? Stop it. Yes, I know it's drastic. I know it's like severe. I'm telling you how dangerous they are. Whoa, they're so angry so early. Anyway, next segment. I missed you. Next segment.
I did not forfeit my rights. That was your judgment. And also, I feel that I should have had some type of evidentiary hearing prior to your decision. so I could have better explained myself and you could have had a better understanding. So by you denying my standby counsel, which thank you to him for explaining to me what specifically it is, I don't want to be pro se any longer. So I didn't want to be pro se in the first place. And again, you, in my opinion, unlawfully denied me or didn't even suggest an evidentiary hearing in order for me to avoid or try to go about a solution or remedy so you would understand. So I don't know if it's me either wasting your time or anybody else's time, if it's even an opportunity, or if it's just something that is denied, period.
It is denied, period.
Thank you.
With regard to an evidentiary hearing, that seems to be in the realm of a Ferretta inquiry where a criminal defendant is seeking to represent themselves. And I would inquire of that person and have an evidentiary hearing as to the rights and remedies that you were forfeiting and the pros and cons of proceeding representing yourself and the benefits of being represented by counsel. Due to the Florida case law that was provided in the 16-page order, no such evidentiary hearing is required.
My understanding was the hearing, the Ferretta hearing, is in regards to competency as opposed to having an understanding before you take someone's rights away.
Ferretta pertains to a criminal defendant's seeking to represent themselves. Ferretta was not applicable to your situation, and that's identified in the case law citations that were provided in the 16-page order.
Yes, I understand. It was the day of that I was explained most of all of this, and as opposed to prior, so I would know what happened or could happen. So my understanding is one thing, and then the explanation is another. So I'm just confused and feel that I should have had an opportunity prior to all of this to explain myself and to have a better understanding. So now my belief was that the the Ferretta hearing was simply competency. So the evidentiary hearing I thought would be a collaboration the information of why I wrote my letters in order for you to remove my right to counsel. That, in my opinion, I felt that it was a type of retaliation by the court because you did not understand or attempt to understand any of my letters that I wrote previously, which was for the intervention of the judge and or the court to avoid any of this with me sitting in front of you presently.
Ma'am, as identified in my 16-page order, I listened to every audio hearing. I specifically provided dates and times and words that were specifically said at particular hearings involving yourself and prior counsel. I also made reference in the 16-page order to statements that were made in your letters. I've promised you, I've read everything in the court file. I've read every single letter, and I've listened to every single audio. That decision was not made lightly, and it took a lot of time to make that determination and that decision, which explains why it was also a 16-page order. That order stands, it remains. The court's not going to revise its findings or its determination as to your forfeiture, and alternatively a waiver by virtue of the conduct identified in that order.
Okay. I believe, in my opinion, the order is erroneous. And after I reviewed your 16-page order, there are quite a few incorrect entries, and some of them are based on perjury by the attorneys. And by you reading and then also listening to the audio, you did not listen to me in any way, shape, or form in order for me to explain myself better so you have an exact understanding of the particulars of each letter for each attorney.
I'm not going to revisit my prior decision.
I understand. I'm just trying to make you aware that it's my opinion.
You, and like we talked about last time, ma'am, you're certainly entitled to that opinion.
Thank you.
Okay, so first, let me just apologize for making you sit through this segment. But I thought it was important for you to understand and at least see, again, in real time, her inability to comprehend. Because it's not that she's stupid. And it's not that she doesn't have a form of critical thinking. It's just that her context is literally centered around her world, her feelings, and what her perception is. which, as we all know, that's not how life doesn't work like that. It's not all about you, and it's not really anyway. And so this is the third time that this beast is not able to comprehend a simple concept. A simple concept. These hearings, all these motions, none of it was about to hear your point of view, Sarah Boone. And that's not what it's about. You had an opportunity in front of the court to speak with the lawyer. Actually, it's the lawyer who brought it up. The lawyers are not interested. They are human beings. They don't have to sit and be tortured. No, they're not. They don't have to be tortured. Nobody is forced to do whatever they don't want to do in certain circumstances, right? So your idea that we have to make a whole hearing just to hear you speak, and then, God forbid, we rule against what you think should be. Oh, that is cry foul. The victim card, and we know who plays that card very well. The victim card is out of this world. There's no victims. There's no victim here. There's only one. Yes. And it just fuels my irritation when I hear her speak. That's all. That's all. Next segment.
So it's an option of reviewing what the state has with my investigator and then be able to come with the objections and everything.
That is correct.
I'm clear on having all of my evidence being in sealed bags and for me to be able to inspect them to be here in the courtroom. I don't know how the attorneys have done any of this prior, but I don't believe that it was in the courtroom. So I'm just trying to protect myself against the media. I'm not sure at this point what is even suppressible that is available on the internet. But at the same time, though, it is my understanding that I should have some right to privacy in reviewing the evidence. So I didn't know if my investigator and I are able to collaborate prior and view and then come to court with everything finalized and ready to go as answers.
I'm certainly going to give you an opportunity to meet with your investigator to address it. The question is just the method of how to do it. The state's proposal is digital. They would meet with you, identify specifically digitally what videos, what photographs they intend on utilizing, and anything that may be physical, CSI, etc., would be addressed here in open court.
And just so the court and the defendant understands how physical evidence viewing would operate normally, the defense attorney and or her or his investigator would come out either to the sheriff's office or OPD's evidence center, whichever agency, and they come and view it. But it's done in the presence of the state, it's done in presence of law enforcement, it's done in presence of the CSI for the chain of custody. So attorneys don't get privacy when they're reviewing the physical evidence either. So that wouldn't really be any different than if she's doing it in the witness stand or wherever we deem suitable in the courtroom.
I think
that's why I blurted out no, because she wants complete privacy. She wants to be in the room with some coffee talking one-on-one. No, like that's the thing. She doesn't quite understand. She doesn't quite understand anything. The purpose of this segment really is all about a question that I want to ask you, because I don't know. I'm too lazy to research. I'm playing. No, in all seriousness, because listen, this whole segment is about the evidence, how it's being processed, how it's going to be viewed, and the inner works of evidence, right? Which is important. But if you look into the context of a prose defendant who doesn't have the wherewithal to really be a lawyer, how is that even a question in her book? Hold on. The plate is very full. There's so many things to worry about. The minutia of evidence is the last thing that's going to be in my mind. That's the last thing to be in my mind. She's very harped and grasped on that. Now, if you look at the history of behavior of Sarah Boone, when she latches onto something, it's because of what? Mainly because either her fans put her onto it. Oh my God, Sarah, your constitutional rights have been violated. She had no idea about that. She had no idea about that until the fans started to yap about it. Another example, this battered spousal syndrome. She had no idea about that until Mr. Benkiewicz came up with it. So the behavioral pattern here tells me that if she's latching on to something, it's because someone said something. Yeah, tigers on chains and stripes. Yeah, people are very predictable. But anyway, so then my question comes in. As I was doing the operating flow, I do some pseudo research, not that much, maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes, when I kind of scour around and I write down my thoughts and ideas of how I want this conversation that we're having to go. I know I look disorganized, but I'm very organized. And in this small pseudo research on my operating flow, I came upon someone, I don't remember his name. It's actually quite irrelevant. A retired lawyer who said that he went and saw Sarah Boone, but he can't talk about it. I love that. I saw her, talked to her, but I can't talk about what we talked about, right? When I looked at the date, this happened before this situation, this hearing, and they met under lawyer-client privilege, right? Now, I don't know what was said in there, but in the little small snippet video that I saw of him, he was just talking about really nonsense because he couldn't talk about anything, right? So I was like, well, what's the point? What am I watching? And besides, kudos to you, sir. You're obviously very nice, and you obviously want to help the needy. So why don't you just represent her pro bono? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you're that nice and that concerned, why don't you go help pro bono? So my real question is that I have an inclination that he met with her and told her, what about your evidence? I'm just saying, I'm not hating. Please, I'm not hating. I'm too busy to hate. No. But I ask a lot of questions. And I'm very exigent. So I'm curious. Sarah Boone is not that smart to come up with complexities like that, right? She latches on ideas and tries to spin a story around it. So to me, it smells fishy. And the dates are even fishier. So, sir, if my assumption is correct, we could somewhat kind of tell what you talked about. Because, he mentioned about how everything is unfair, like she's being treated poorly, the court is being unjust. So clearly he's a fan. Aren't we all fans? Yeah, hi, Sarah. We're hi. Woohoo! Right, we're all fans. But, I'm not getting that close. Get away from me. What time is it? Oh, almost an hour. Time flies like it's nobody's business. I feel like it's been 10 minutes. It's been almost an hour.
The only opportunity for me to make that record is here in court.
What did prior attorneys do?
That was already identified by the state.
I know I'm trying to keep up with everything. What was the answer, please?
So an attorney who's doing an evidence view would come out to the law enforcement agency's evidence warehouse, for lack of a better term, and then in the presence of the state attorney, the CSI, and the lead detective, they look at the package, and if they deem any particular package worthy of opening and examining, they can do that. We can have the CSI bring butcher paper here so that any particular item can be opened, put on fresh butcher paper, and then changed out between exhibits so that there's no contamination. And then you can examine it. If Mr. Lane or any other representative from his organization is here, he will have the opportunity to photograph those exhibits once taken out of the packages. And that's essentially how an evidence viewing is conducted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, please, would the media be involved in that?
That's a conversation that I need to see if I can exclude them from participation or viewing that proceeding. There are rights where the media has to view proceedings in court due to the sensitive nature of what
public records
may be being discussed or viewed. I need to see if I can prevent media access. So without doing a little bit more further dive or research in that, I don't know if I can make that call at this time.
Yes, I have not heard of a case where the evidentiary hearing has been televised.
Says the non-lawyer.
If you could please look into that, because I disagree with the media being involved in that.
I understand your position, and again, for the reasons that I stated earlier, I'm trying to prohibit as much as I can from dissemination to the public, especially some of the exhibits that the state may be seeking to utilize. We are going to go ahead and set the evidence hearing. The first is...
Listen, criminals have several seats. You're not smarter than a judge and a lawyer, so please stop. Please stop. You're already an idiot for breaking the law. Stop. And kids, stay in school. Don't be stupid. Let me explain something to you very clearly. I'm a naturalized citizen. Take that. I'm just saying, I pay a lot in taxes. And I'm sure a lot of you do. But honey, the idea that as a tax-paying citizen, I don't have access to my dollars supporting your stupid pens and that awesome pink handcuffs. No, of course the media has rules and laws around that. Like it's public records for a reason. Let me tell you something. Something off the side. You know, they are trying very hard to hide evictions. They are trying very hard to make it so landlords or people cannot go and look at your eviction situation. Now look, I'm not throwing tomatoes, I'm just letting you know. That's public records. There's laws around that. There's laws around that. They can maybe stop the automated machine to do that, but they can't stop me for going in there and opening the book and look at it. They can't do that. They can't do that because my tax dollars pay for the damn door and the paper and the electricity. Not your mind. No, I'm just saying basics. I don't know, basics part of being a citizen. Do people even go to school anymore? Kids stay in school. This is I can't believe I have to sit there and explain this. I mean, not to you, do you know what I mean? No, I just can't understand that. Like, it's a simple concept. Like, you know, you breathe air, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I really don't understand it. Anyway.
Forgive me. So today being August 5th, I'm supposed to expeditiously complete my case that in every way, shape, and form by September 26th in order to go to trial for October 7th.
The dates are what the dates are. September 26th is the trial case management date, and October 7th is the trial date.
So by me not even seeing my discovery yet 2 days, and only being restricted to a laptop from 8 to 4 and not having my hard copy evidence.
You have 62 days to prepare for trial, not including today. And you're going to get your discovery today.
Wow. So in over 4 years, it comes down to me representing myself in 62 days?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Am I supposed to?
What now we're addressing, ma'am, is September 17th.
Right.
The deadline, which is 2 weeks after having the physical view of any of the physical evidence. It sounds like Mr. J is going to try to meet with you pretty promptly regarding the digital evidence. So you'll have plenty of time to review that in 2 weeks at a minimum, or 2 weeks at most rather, to lodge any objections to the physical evidence.
I understand. I just don't understand how to file objections.
I cannot answer that for you. That would be me providing you legal advice, which I'm prohibited from doing. All I can tell you is that if you have objections to any of the exhibits that the state may seek to move into evidence, you will have to lodge those objections by the close of business on September 17th. And those objections will have to be in writing. If we have to have a hearing on those objections, that hearing will be held on September 26th.
Okay. And if I may ask, are these being delegated or they're I'm being incorporated in this in order for me to be able to say yay or nay.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
What do you
me
mean
neither.
delegated?
Are you delegating to me as you've delegated everything else in regards to taking my counsel and all of your orders?
You are representing yourself for
Yeah.
the reasons that the court identified in its 16-page order. It is your responsibility, as you are representing yourself and proceeding pro se, to comply with the court's orders and deadlines.
But I didn't you?
So if you have objections to any of the exhibits that the state may be seeking to offer into evidence, be it digital or physical, based on your review of those, the deadline to submit those in writing would be on September 17th.
Okay, so you're making statements, so I don't have any say in it.
I've asked you what your thoughts would be as to when. You've never provided me in a disagreement with regard to that date as of yet. You've asked questions about your motions that I haven't seen yet, your desire to have hard copies, which we addressed at the last hearing, but I'll be glad to address it again today. You have yet to tell me that that date's unacceptable for you, and if so, why?
I wouldn't necessarily say unacceptable, I'm just uncomfortable with agreeing to a date when I am pro se and have never been pro se before and do not know what I'm doing. So I just want to make sure that I do it correctly and have an understanding also, if you are proposing that I go to trial within 62 days, that I know what I'm going into and what I may expect. So I didn't know if this would just be easier on everyone else if they just delegated the dates and gave me a printed copy with your order and whatever information you have. I don't know. I don't know either if you all are just proposing that because I'm incarcerated, just the dates are what you tell me. I don't know what I'm doing. I do not know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to learn as I go, which is why I'm grateful for everyone's patience. But at the same time, though, for me to accept this date and then not be able to meet it, what happens when that happens, if it should happen?
I can't answer that question. Again, that would be me providing you legal advice as to what to do if something happens. I simply cannot answer that question. I'm not allowed to.
Okay. Well, I'm with the court, so whatever it is that you all are trying to do in order to expedite this even more than what it's being expedited, I'm guessing I agree with September 17th.
Okay, all right. Now, ma'am, I believe that takes care of all of the deadlines with regard to the state's exhibits. Now I want to address deadlines for any exhibits or witnesses that you may be seeking. I am mindful that you will be receiving the discovery today and that you have not had the opportunity to review some of the items that may be in the discovery. So how much time would you like to provide to the court?
Look, what did you expect? You're not a lawyer. Did you expect to be Johnny Cochran? No. You're more likely to be I hope you didn't get that. I hope this was so weird you didn't catch it. Thank you. And if you caught it, whatever. My own opinion. Get out of here with that. Anyway, look. She's gonna fail miserably. This will be the fastest trial in the history of pro se trials. She's gonna walk into the door. Guilty! Boom! Yay! She's gonna have nothing prepared. I'm not even mad at her for that. I wouldn't have nothing prepared. Listen, if I was ever in handcuffs, what are you doing? Stop it! If I was ever in handcuffs, and then I go like this. All right, Mr. Ezekiel. Thank you. Represent yourself. I will go to jail the next day. First of all, I don't even know. I would go to jail the next day. How do you write a motion? I have no idea. How do you object? I don't know you could object in writing. Like, objection, Or is it object? I don't freaking know. Listen, this is why you don't try to build the bridge, because you're not an engineer. So have several seats and hire an engineer. Don't try to build a house because you're not a builder. Have several seats, hire a builder. Don't represent yourself. You're not a lawyer. Have several seats and hire a lawyer. And when they give you a free lawyer, you better say, oh, thank God for this constitution, the great country we live in called America. Because nowhere else in the world they give you a lawyer like that. Are you out of your mind? Maybe in Canada. Maybe, yeah, Canada they do. Canada they do. In Europe, I don't freaking know. I'm not a criminal. I don't know. This is an area of expertise. I have no freaking idea. But listen, if you want to be a criminal, what am I talking about? Nonsense. You guys saw this, right? Okay, good. Now she's the idiot who's like, oh my God, I don't know how to present myself. Begging. Guys, I wonder what Mr. Bankowitz is doing. Do you think he's watching this with popcorn? Mr. Bankowitz, he was my favorite. I think he's watching this with popcorn and saying, told you. Yeah, Mr. Bankowitz did the most work. Mr. Bankowitz, Sarah Boone fans, you know what? That lawyer who went and see her, you should have gone to Mr. Bankowitz and say, thank you, sir. Because if you really cared about this woman, lawyer over there, you would have volunteered pro bono. Yeah? Clearly you don't care that much. Sitting there like, oh, I think she's being treated unfair. Have several seats, sir. I'm not hating. I just think it's like, how to say this? You know what? No, it's not hate. It's irritation. I'm irritated at what? I'll tell you what I'm irritated at. I'm irritated at the fact that, as a lawyer, I put you at a higher standard than the average person. Okay? So, to come out, I think he's retired, and be like, yeah, she's being treated unfairly. What? I'm not even a lawyer. I can see right through that. So then go ahead. Go pro bono. No, because he doesn't want to deal with the headache. So what should us in the court? You say? I'm just saying. Triangle. All right, let's go. Let's go to my final thought. I've had enough of hers for the day. Let's go to my final thought. All right. Oh, I forgot to press the pause button on the record. Okay, that just took 2 minutes of my time of the recording. Long story. Yeah, I had to get more coffee. There was no more coffee. Out of your mind. I need coffee. So listen, final thought. I know I'm behind on all this stuff, so I'm going to pump those out. Yeah, she's not going to make it. This is actually going to be the most comical thing that we will see in a long time. But you know what? You know what's going to happen during the actual trial? The evidence? We're going to see real pictures. We're going to see the terror. Because autopsy report, they're probably going to show the level of bruise. She probably kicked the man, stomped on him. She said she went to sleep. She didn't go to sleep. She tortured the hell out of him. And then she went to sleep. Yeah. This is going to be, I think, the trial of the century when it comes up. We're so invested now. We're so invested. But I am afraid to see what the evidence really is because I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it's going to be much more than the guy who suffocated. I think it's going to be torturous, horrendous, painful. And then sit here and tell her we're treating her unfairly. Are you out of your all freaking mind? I can't believe someone even that can't be that crossing people's mind, but it does. Yeah, it does. She's how much you want to bet she wishes she had all those lawyers back? I almost feel like, listen, do you think the judge is doing this and at the last minute he'd be like, all right, give you a lawyer just to teach her a lesson? I hope not. Let me tell you something about second chances. It's not deserved. Not everybody deserves a second chance. Do you want to know the ruthlessness of life? Let me tell you what the ruthlessness of life is. The ruthlessness of life is it takes one mistake to ruin your entire life. Life doesn't care. Have you seen National Geographic, the documentaries? Oh, look, mother, a bird and her babies. And then, rah, the snake just grabs all of them. Oh, the whole family wiped out. That's life. It's life. It's life. Wow, what a beautiful doe running around in the prairie, eaten by a bear. That is life. What makes you think we're that much different? We're not that much different. It's tough out here. Life is very hard. Life is very freaking hard. I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell you this for any kids or idiots who think you just snooze through. Life is hard as hell. To think being treated unfairly. I don't have your mind. I need to get a shirt. I have your mind. Do you understand? I have no time. Anyway. That's it from my final thought. Let's go to my Let's Talk. I'm already way behind. Look. Oh, it's only 9 a.m. We've been up. Please. Time zone, jet lag is a nightmare. Let's talk about it. Welcome to my Let's Talk, everybody. If you got this far, that means you care enough of my stupidity and you like it. Good. I like it too. I really do. I'm tired. Listen. Of course, like, subscribe. We went to Portugal. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I'll tell you why. For two reasons. The first one is the first time traveling with the baby internationally. She's done local travels with the airplane, but this was the first time traveling with the baby. And we took my mother with us for two main reasons. Well, three. The first reason is I wanted her to take a little vacation away from my dad. I've stopped sharing the information, but she's still in litigation with my father. Not with the divorce, but the other stuff that he brings up. And my mom is a fighter. So I was like, just come and just relax for 2 weeks. The second reason why I brought my mother was I wanted her to bond more with my daughter, Olympia. It's a very long story, but long story short really is that, my mom is a born-again Christian, so there's a religious barrier for her to accept my husband and to accept my family, right? But she said the reason why she's still around is because, the concept of her killing her child, because that's what her first church initially was saying, not to murder me, but I'm so sinful, the demon in me is so great that I need to be killed. I'm serious. If you go to Africa, you could be killed. Anyway, it's not even for debate. I'm telling you, that's what it is. And if you want to dispute that, then you're the idiot, not me. You go educate yourself on that, okay? It's very infuriating. The fact that in the name of religion, you justify taking someone's life. And when someone dies, even Sarah Boone, all her fans will be sad. But when someone dies, the ripple effect is huge when someone is not around. It's huge. I'll tie it all together in a little bit. But anyway, so the third reason why I brought her is someone got to watch the kid while I go and, twirl a little bit, right? I'm on vacation. And we also brought my niece-in-law, Christopher's niece. She came with us. Why? Because she was in France, darling, during the Olympic with her boyfriend. And then she went to Greece with her boyfriend. And so she was already in Europe. And she said, Uncle Alistair, Uncle Christopher. I said, yes, my dear. Can I please come and stay with you and hang out before I go back to America? I said, sure, why not? We have room, we have space, sure. And she just tagged along. And then we flew home together. It was a great experience. Anyway, you guys know I'm a family man. Listen, in my past life, I was a but but no, in this grown-up life, no, I'm a family man. Hello, have a seat. Let's eat outside. Cheese and coffee. Yeah. Anyway, so now the trip was amazing. It was partially for business because I am looking to expand my operations abroad in Europe. Now, to be specific, I can't tell you too many specifics. The IRS is watching, and also, crazy people out there on the internet. Get away from me. But no, it's important because I'm not retiring here in the US until the United States fix their healthcare system. No, I'm a French citizen. No, I'm going back to Europe to retire and mend my wounds with my fixed income. Because the way this is going, healthcare in America is way too expensive. We print so much money to take care of stupid criminals. $340,000 on this beast. That money could have saved and feed a lot of people, but no, we spend it on one person who's ungrateful and who killed someone. By the way, it's not like it's not even a dispute. It's like he's dead, right? And we're sitting here twirling our thumbs because some of us can't even afford insulin. Are you serious? Like, what is going on here? But again, people like to stay asleep, so stay asleep. I'm not staying asleep. Anyway, I'm trying so hard to keep my tongue. You know what goes through my head? A lot of goes through my head, and it comes out in a very filtered. I'm very filtered. I know it may not look like it. I think before I speak, and if I make a mistake, I just edit the hell out of it. That's it. But I'm very much aware of what I'm saying. That's not even the point. The point is my vacation. Yeah. So, expanding my operation in Europe, seeing what's going on up there. Went to a lot of meeting. I went to also sites. You can't just talk over the phone. I got to see, what is this? What is that? What does that do? Where does that go? What's over there? What's that mounted? What is that? What is this? And I ask a lot of questions. And if I don't like something, listen. And again, I encourage everybody at any age. I don't care who you are. If you don't like something, of course, within boundaries. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't want that. Don't stop trying to please people. Stop it. Because people, the other person won't stop. They'll take it and they'll be like, "Oh, thanks." Stop it. No, if it's not how you want it, if it's not within your compromise, don't ask for perfection because that's also not realistic. But if it's not within the margin of compromisation, you say no thanks. Let them figure it out. No, don't engage in something you're not fully invested in or fully excited about, right? Yeah. She was like, "Oh my God, this guy." Yeah. And I'm not difficult. I just know what I want. I go to meetings with an idea, with an operating flow. So when I come to you all laughy and giggly, "Wow, this looks great. Wow. Oh my God." Trust and believe. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. So you might think, "Wow, he's sucker." Yeah. Until we talk numbers and I go, "No." And they're like, "Wait, I thought you liked it." No, I did. I'm just not that interested. Anyway. So yeah. Another story about Portugal. Listen, my daughter almost died. Oh, what are you talking about? You don't understand. I'm going to put a picture up there so you can see what happened. Oh, my baby. I say to you guys all the time, it takes one moment to ruin your life. One moment to ruin your life. That's why I don't take chances. You show me a hint of crazy, I'm out. I don't even try to psychoanalyze you. I don't even try to be like, "Oh, but you had a bad day." There's a certain fundamental of things. You don't come to that standard, I am out. Because it takes one moment for a lunatic to press the button and then you over there on the ground 6 feet under. I'm just saying. Now look, my poor baby, enjoying her vacation thoroughly, twirling in her dress. "Papa, Papa, Daddy, Daddy," just screaming her eyes out though. No, 1 second, she's still a 2-year-old kid. Don't play with her, she will scream at your face. But she's twirling and enjoying the hard work of her parents. Twirling, luxuriating. And she tripped. She missed the flight of stairs. She fell all the way down the flight of stairs and cut her hair open. Now, it was a clean slice to the bone. I'll show you a picture really quickly. A clean slice to the bone. And I could see her skull. Now, look, I'm a molecular biologist by trade. Science, I'm not a stranger to that. Okay. So I looked at it and I mean, we were all calm. My mom was just hysterically screaming. My niece was like the most calm. Christopher was very quiet. I was calm, but in my heart was beating so fast. And then, the phones didn't work. We're in a foreign country. How do you call 911? It's 122 for Portugal. Nothing was working. For some odd reason, it wasn't going through. And, I was, so I went outside and I started running in the streets screaming. Now, look, I don't have shame like that. And they're like, what's wrong? I said, my daughter fell down the stairs. She needs an ambulance. 20 minutes later, they came. And she brought to the hospital. She got 9 stitches. Oh, my baby. But let me tell you something. That was really difficult. It was really hard. Because at that moment, it's a head injury and there was blood everywhere. And the blood wouldn't stop coming out. And trying to stay composed, and she's screaming and hurling and calling, Papa, Dada, like screaming our names. And I'm sitting there like, okay. And my mom is over there screaming. There's a lot of screams. And trying to stay composed, okay? And to trying to stay composed and function. Because it's different when you're functioning on high stress for work. Forget that. But staying functional in a high stress environment, your kids or loved one life is at play. Oh my God, it's a whole different ball game. And again, these are stuff you don't know how you will how you will react and feel like until it happens. Oh wow, I gotta hurry up until it happens. Calm down, Alistair, calm down. It's at the end when everything just unleashed. She's okay. She's only okay because she hit the best possible spot. In Portugal, the EMS car are doctors. They're not like EMS people. Full-on doctors. And they have all the equipment to do operational stuff in the car. Genius. Welcome to Europe, America. I'm just saying, US, get your stuff together and get the healthcare together. I'm just saying. Anyway, but I didn't know that. It's different than in France, but over there in Portugal is how they do it. And the reason why is because sometimes hospitals are very far away because the car has to drive sometimes to remote places and they have to do stuff right there and then. So every country has different stuff for every country, right? But I thought it was genius idea. That concept wouldn't work in the US because there's too many of us. Not enough doctors, too many people, not enough cars, not enough anything. So, I'm just talking out of my ass, right? But it's important nonetheless that the US needs to do better in their healthcare system. I'm just saying, I'm telling you. Anyway, so we get to the hospital. I had no idea that she was seen by a doctor because I'm thinking that, the EMS people picked her up. And all I could think about is, because we got to the ER, and it was children's hospital. Got to ER, and then we got sent to the operating room. Then we waited for like 2 hours. And here's the thing: is that that's the negative thing of having a universal healthcare, is that you have to wait because everybody wants something. Sorry, we're friends. And so, so I'm sitting there, I'm waiting, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, someone needs to look at this kid and let me know if there's a concussion. What is happening? Oh God! And what is happening? And it got to a point where I panicked, and this is where like the in me came out, because I opened that door. I didn't speak Portuguese. I just spoke only English, and I walked that door and I looked for someone, and they were like, "Excuse me." I was like, "No, excuse you." I was being so rude. But you don't understand. Like in my opinion, I've been there for 2 hours. My kid just hit her head. I can see the skull. There was blood everywhere. And she's like, she's going in and out of stuff. What do you mean? And then they told me, no, sir, the ambulance, the personnel in the ambulance are doctors. Doctors already saw your kid. I didn't know that. Tell me that. And I was like, oh, okay. And they said they didn't see any sign of concussion, and they didn't see any sign of neurological damage, and they already investigated the wound. And in the report, it says that she actually hit it in the best place possible. So when we got there, then the triage situation read the report, and they said, okay, we're going to bring you to surgery. I had no idea. But, as a foreigner, I was like, wow, I didn't know. I think it was a great system. But I sat there for 2 hours patiently, thinking that the doctor didn't see my kid. Of course. And when your kid is involved, listen, I can fight King Kong. Don't play with me. When my kid is involved, you better step away. You better step so far away and disappear, because you don't want to see any of this come out, because it's not pretty. I'm not going to assault you. I will just sue you to the ground. You'll never rise again. I'm serious. And so, oh God, calm down, Alistair. I'm trying to come down. I'm revisiting the moment how it happened, and I'm looking at the clock because I'm getting over time here. I need to hurry up and wrap this up. Alistair, it's not all about Back Nation. I'm playing. Anyway, now the next day they put the stitches, and she hurled and screamed, oh my baby, and she was just so exhausted. We got home, and it was nobody's fault. She tripped. Actually, it was our fault. So me and Chris took the responsibility afterwards, because even though we looked at the house being childproof, it wasn't childproof enough. There shouldn't be those stairs there. And now we know when we travel, I'll be looking at things a little more. I'll be paying more attention to stairs and elevation. If anything, I'll be looking for either elevator, flat surface, or extra railing. So, I said to Christopher, it's just an instant. We blinked, she tripped. Thank God that she hit this side of her head. And apparently this is the hardest part. The frontal side is the hardest part of the skull, but this area particularly is harder than right here in the center. Right, the sides are harder in the center, and she hit right here. And it cut straight through the bone. And if the doctor said if you hit anywhere else in the head, she would have been dead. Now look. Anyway, we're back home. It happened in the middle of the trip. And the next day, and to give you an idea, she didn't have a concussion. There was no need for neurological situation. It was fine. Thank God for the skull. And the next day she woke up, she had a little soreness, not headache. And she was like, where are we going today? And we went to the beach, and we went to stuff. And of course, beforehand, I asked the doctor, do we slow down? The doctor's like, no, there's no neurological stuff that we see. They did a CAT scan. There's nothing that we see here. So, just disinfect the wound, and here's some Tylenol when she gets sore in the head. And I was like, wow, all that just for Tylenol? 9 stitches in Tylenol. Amazing. And all this screaming. And during the rest of the vacation, she was very she wanted to be held a lot. And I was like, for this once, yes, I will hold you extra than normal. You know what was going through my mind? As she was tired from all the screaming, and she would go like that, and they would tell us, no, keep her awake until the CAT scan. Keep her awake, keep her awake. I was like, what am I going to tell people? What am I going to tell? I went on vacation and I come back -1. To give you an idea, when someone dies, the ripple effect, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, everybody in the family knew, but my friends and her school, what am I going to tell people? Hello, we went on vacation last week and we come back with no baby? What? There's a lot more intricacy. You're not going to call the banks. It's just, I was like, I have to relive the moment of this trauma. Hello, yes, she's dead. Hello, yes. Just the idea alone was just eating me up. Chris was like, I think it's time to go home. And Chris was like, I'm ready to just go home and just disappear. And I said, I'm with you, except I'm contractually bound to stay. You can go home. I have to stay. And then, but so we said in the next morning, depending on how she wakes up, we are going back to America. Not because of the healthcare stuff. It's just because so we are closer to home, and because we're living on our suitcases. Like it's just let's just go home. And on the next morning, she woke up. She was like, "Hello, time to go," as if nothing happened. I was like, "Oh God." Well, we had no sleep because we're too busy watching her. We were like, "Is she breathing? Yes. Okay, good. Oh, good. Is she breathing? Yeah. Okay, good." Like that's how we were the entire night. Oh, exhausted. But we had such good time. Minus that, we went clubbing. We went dancing. Woo, cha! Listen. I don't know why people stop doing that when they get older. No. What? And that was my niece Ashley, beautiful girl, with her luscious hair. So funny. It's so weird looking at these kids growing up. I was looking at her like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm having a drink with you. This league over there. I can't believe I'm having a drink with you. This is so inappropriate. And then after a few wines, a few drinks, we got really inappropriate. Not like that. Slow down. We were twerking, cursing, talking filthy, exchanging stories. How terrible. How terrible. Well, yeah, I was young once. I did my things. Please. If you didn't live, that's not my problem. I don't even need to chap. I'm over chapping because my brain now is turned off. I have to go. I have the timer that's right in front of me, and I'm 25 minutes over what I needed to be. It's because I missed you. Goodbye. I see you next time. Like, subscribe. No. My brain. No. I see you next time. Thank you for watching. There's no need to like, subscribe because you're already here. I know you have already. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta go.